everyone, and welcome to Martin's Houseplant of the Week. Thank you for tuning in. We're super excited about this week's houseplant, so let's get rolling. This week we've got Ficus elastica, which is also commonly known as a rubber tree. These plants are really neat because they come in a lot of different shades and colors. They are in the family Murfreesboro, which is actually the mulberry family. It's really cool to know where your plant's coming from as well as its family and what it's related to, because all of the plants will kind of function kind of similarly, which is kind of neat. And then it's native to Southeast Asia, but it has become like a very normal, naturally growing plant in other places like Sri Lanka, the West Indies, and then also Florida, which is kind of cool. In the wild, they can grow up to 100 feet tall, but don't be worried because in your house, they are much more manageable. So within your house, they will only get up to about 8 feet tall. They aren't a super fast grower. They're just pretty moderate. So it'll probably take, several years for it to get up to that height. One thing to keep in mind with these plants is that, they look great sitting on a coffee table like this, but then they could also be a really nice statement piece next to like a fireplace. These are all the same plant, technically, but they are all different varieties of the same plant. So here you have a variegated variety, you have a variety with darker leaves, and then you have a variety with lighter leaves. So it's really just about which one you like the best and which one will look best with your other house plants or your scenario that you're putting it in. So let's kind of dig into care of these plants. These are actually pretty easy to care for. They kind of look scary, and because they're in that ficus family, some people kind of worry about it a little bit because fiddle leaf figs are kind of difficult, but these are pretty nice. They are a good low light option. They don't need very much. They like filtered indirect light, and they are pretty easy when it comes to your temperature. They like between 60 to 75 degrees. They don't need a bunch of humidity. That just your normal house will be fine. But if they do seem like they need more humidity, you can always mist the leaves for that little added benefit. As far as soil goes, they're going to want a well-drained soil. So you can use like a normal potting mix or like a cactus mix would also be really good because it's going to have that sand in there. But if you use like a normal one, you could mix your own sand in, or even some orchid bark would also help it out a good bit. When it comes to potting, you're going to want to make sure that you have a pot with good drainage holes. This is very crucial with these because the most common issue with rubber plants is overwatering. When you overwater and you combine low temperatures, you just have this like perfect breeding ground for fungus, pests, all this stuff. So really making sure that the top layer of soil is dry to the touch before you water again is pretty imperative when it comes to rubber plants. A good sign of overwatering is when you have a ton of leaves just dropping randomly. Typically, that's the problem. Now, if your leaves are yellowing, then it probably means that one of the care, portions you're just missing somehow. So there's somewhere you're going wrong. So when your leaves are yellowing, a good thing to do is go through your process of elimination. Go, am I giving it enough light? Does it have the right temperature? Am I giving it enough water or too much water, etc.? So that's really important when it comes down to determining what that means. And as soon as you notice any overwatering, you kind of want to get it taken care of as soon as possible. So you're going to want to give it completely new soil, repot. The one thing I would recommend is to be really minimal when it comes to having to do those things because these do not like to be moved around a lot. They'll start dropping leaves if you move them around, if there's a draft, like from air, any kind of sudden change in temperature. So make sure that they're not under like an air vent or anything of that sort so that they're not going to be kind of shocked and then lose their leaves. These plants are toxic to dogs and cats, and they do contain latex in their sap. If you break off a leaf, you'll see this white milky sap, and it has latex in it, which is pretty cool. It can be harvested actually, or like collected, once the plant reaches 6 years of age, and that's another way we get latex. So that's pretty interesting. Fun little fact there. These plants are pretty prone to a few pests, no more than other plants necessarily, but they are prone to mealybugs, scale, and spider mites. So, the best way to make sure you don't have those is to look for it early, and make sure that you're not creating that breeding ground for those pests. And I would recommend when you get it from anywhere, well, this is with any houseplant, making sure you keep it away from your other plants, make sure that it's totally happy, doesn't have any bugs, and then introduce it to your current plants so that if there is something on here, it's not going to get on everything else. And then I have a fun fact for you guys this week about rubber trees. Frank Sinatra actually wrote his song High Hopes, which talks about rubber plants, which is pretty cool. And John F. Kennedy actually used it in his campaign and reworded it a little bit, which he ended up winning. So, pretty cool little fact about rubber plants. These plants, as you can see, come in a variety of different sizes and colors, and we have them all here at Martin's. So, come check it out, come ask questions, and we hope to see you soon. Have a great week, y'all.